Have we entered the era of the Rory Tour? Is it the Rory Tour now? Not the PGA Tour. Is it the Rory Tour? It seems like Rory McIlroy he's obviously been anti-live. He's been vocal, and I wouldn't say he's totally anti-live, but I would say this: he's definitely been anti guys who play live and are trying to also play in PGA or DP World Tour events. So he's been against that. He's not been for it. And I'll be honest, I'm not necessarily for it. I just, it's good television. It's a good, kind of conflict that's interesting to see, right? And we tune in and we like it. It's uncomfortable, I would say. But for me, I'm not necessarily for guys that have bounced to live to then try to come back at tour events, PGA Tour events, because you've made your decision. If you made a decision to go to live, I say stick with that. Now, the major championships, I would say, are totally different because those aren't PGA Tour events. Those are independent golf events. Like the USGA has one male pro tournament, and that's the US Open. That's it. They have one US Open, one US Women's Open. So they have two professional championships. The rest are all amateur championships. So they're only running one male professional event every year. So if I'm running the USGA, I want the best players in the world competing for that. The question is this: even if they don't have world golf ranking points to qualify for the US Open, many of them, why wouldn't they just go through local and regional qualifying? I mean, if you're good enough, you should be fine. It's 1 round, 2 rounds, and then you get to go play in the US Open. So I would assume if you're good enough, you would make it. Now, that's going to ruin it for a lot of other guys who are trying to qualify because they're out. If Dustin Johnson shows up at a local qualifier and Bryson's there, Dustin's there, Brooks Koepka's there, they're all you're out. Let's just face it. You ain't going to make it. You're an amateur. You're going to have to get super lucky, especially on that local level. And so whatever. So I'm not for that. But Rory McIlroy has basically put the PGA Tour on his back, says, I gotcha, let's go. And he's been winning. And okay, cool. Well, but you're not going to play every event. So then what? I don't know. And then what about the majors? If you start winning majors because the other guys aren't there. Now, they're good. DJ's still good. I mean, those guys are still good. It's not like these guys are all has-beens. I mean, Brooks just won. He's a multiple major winner. He's a great player. He could win more majors. Let's be real. When he wins, he's won more majors than other tournaments. That's just who he is. So if Rory's winning all the tournaments, it's kind of the Rory Tour. And so I'm wondering, what will the other guys on the PGA Tour think about that? If Rory's getting all the attention, of course, if he's winning, that's great. But if it's kind of the Rory Tour, are they going to be more willing to bounce, to leave, to go to live? If the tour is really Rory, do you even want to be a part of that? It's dude wins everything now. It's all about him. They might not like it. They might want to bounce and say, forget it, I'm out. I don't know. I mean, back when it was Tiger, right? Well, there was only really the PGA Tour and the European Tour, right? But there wasn't a competing entity. So it was just Tiger doing what he did. But what he did was he put a ton more money in everybody's pocket. So Tiger might have won everything, but these guys didn't care because the sponsor money, all the purse money, all of that went through the roof. So if it were me, I would say, this is awesome. I don't care. I'm making I made more not winning with Tiger on tour than I ever made winning with Tiger not on tour. That's what a lot of these guys must have been thinking throughout the years. At least that's what I would have been thinking if I was somebody on tour winning and then Tiger rolls around and he starts like even Phil has said that he's made so much money because of Tiger. And Phil had won pre-Tiger. But the purses never increased like they did with Tiger. So with Rory, the purses didn't increase because of Rory. The purses increased because of the LIV Tour. I mean, it's crazy how quickly the PGA Tour evolved. I mean, boom, like that. So much has changed. So you can't look at LIV and say, oh, they're horrible, because they've done so much for the PGA Tour to change and evolve and make those players a lot more money. Okay, so, but has it become the Rory Tour? You let me know what you think. Comment below. Has it become the Rory Tour? And if so, would you be okay with that? I'm a huge Rory fan. I love seeing this guy do his thing. But I do love seeing him compete against like Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka. I love seeing it. Phil Mickelson. I mean, I love seeing him compete against all those guys. So if those guys aren't there, is it the same? Is it the same? And if you're a John Rahm or a Jordan Spieth or a Justin Thomas, how do you cope and deal with the fact that the PGA Tour may or may not be dubbed, nicknamed now, the Rory Tour? What do you do with that? Are you okay with that? Or is it something that you're like, that you would say, I'm out. I can't deal with it. Rory's supposedly the nicest guy, great, everything. I'm a huge fan. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a phenomenal golfer, probably the best golfer in the world right now. But would you be okay with being on the tour, the PGA Tour, moving forward, if they cater to one person more than everybody else? I mean, if I'm the PGA Tour, I'm doing whatever I can do to make sure Rory is in as many events as possible. I'll do whatever it takes. Like, I would do that if I'm running the show. Like, dude, how do we get you in every single tournament right now as we move forward? Because we need you there. I would be doing that. I would make sure that these guys, especially Rory, and the other, like, I would make sure that there is not a week where all the top players are not there. I would do whatever it takes to make sure I have at least, let's say, okay, let's assume all the golf world rankings are people not on the LIV Tour, right? Let's just assume for now. And of the top 10 ranked players in the world at each event, I would want 8 of them. 8. I would say we got to have at least 80 of you. So 2 of you get a week off, and then we'll rotate. And so we'd have to coordinate that. I would have a really, I would make sure that the schedules worked out so that we never had more than 2 out for any event. That'd be my plan. What's your plan? Let me know. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.